Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, things are going to get a little, well, intense. We're going deep into the world of targeted assassinations. Specifically, Israel's history with this controversial tactic.
Definitely a topic that raises a lot of questions.
Big ones. Our main source for this deep dive is Rise and Kill First by Ronen Bergman. It's subtitled The Secret History of Israel's Targeted Assassinations.
Right, and it gets pretty deep under the surface. It's not just about the events themselves. Bergman digs into how this strategy developed, the methods they used, the successes and failures.
And of course, the ethical and legal fallout.
Yeah, the moral implications are huge, and the book doesn't shy away from that.
One of the things that struck me was how technology has changed the game.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we're talking about everything from old school tactics like parcel bombs to the modern world of drones and cyber warfare.
It's wild how much has changed.
There's even a psychological element.
Right. It's not just about physical elimination. They use fear and disinformation to disrupt entire networks.
Mind games on a whole other level.
Exactly.
So to really understand this, we need to go back to the beginning.
To the roots of it all.
Bergman really emphasizes how Israel's early years shaped their whole security outlook.
It's crucial context.
I mean, imagine emerging as a nation in 1948, surrounded by hostility.
And with the trauma of the Holocaust still so fresh.
Survival becomes the top priority.
Absolutely paramount.
And for some, that meant taking extreme measures to ensure it.
Whatever it took.
The assassination of Count Folke Bernadotte in 1948 is a prime example.
A very stark one.
Bernadotte was a Swedish diplomat.
Trying to mediate peace in the region.
But he was assassinated by the Stern Gang, a Zionist paramilitary group.
It really shows how far some were willing to go, even then.
You have the Munich Olympics massacre in 1972. Such a horrific event.
A turning point for sure.
The attack on Israeli athletes was devastating.
And Israel's response? Operation Wrath of God. It was a wave of targeted assassinations against those believed to be responsible.
It solidified this approach as a key part of their counterterrorism strategy.
It became almost doctrine.
So you have this backdrop of fear and a desire for retribution.
Yeah.
And that's where Mossad and Shin Bet come in.
Two of the world's most elite intelligence agencies.
Mossad, focusing on foreign intelligence and covert ops.
And Shin Bet, responsible for internal security.
They become central to planning and carrying out these assassinations.
It's absolutely key players.
And what's fascinating is how their tactics evolved over time.
Oh, yeah, huge shifts.
Bergman traces this meticulously. In the early days, you see more basic attacks, like the 1956 parcel bomb assassination of Mustafa Hafez, an Egyptian intelligence officer.
Pretty straightforward by today's standards.
But then things get much more complex.
A blend of human intelligence and cutting-edge tech.
Drones, cyber warfare, the whole 9 yards.
It's mind-blowing.
Remember the 2010 assassination of Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in Dubai?
Like something out of a spy thriller.
Disguises, fake passports, even hacking into the security cameras.
To take out a top Hamas operative.
It was incredibly daring.
And a bit unsettling when you think about it.
Definitely. But this goes way beyond just the operational details.
For sure.
We have to talk about the ethical and legal questions.
Huge ones.
Bergman doesn't shy away from those tough conversations at all.
He lays it all out.
There are fierce debates within Israel and internationally about whether extrajudicial killings can ever be justified.
It's a complex issue with strong arguments on all sides.
Where do you draw the line between protecting your citizens and upholding international law?
That's the million-dollar question.
It really hangs over the whole book.
It has to.
And it's not just about the targets themselves either.
Right.
Bergman also focuses on the human cost for the people carrying out these missions.
The operatives, the agents.
We forget they're real people with families, with emotions.
They're trained to kill, to compartmentalize, but they still have to live with the consequences.
It takes a toll, psychologically and emotionally.
A huge burden to carry. A heavy burden, for sure.
It makes you think about those ripple effects, too. It's not just about the target.
It's about their families, their communities.
The impact on international relations.
There's a whole web of consequences.
And that leads to a big question that Bergman wrestles with. What's the true legacy of this policy?
Yeah. Has it made Israel safer? And if so, at what cost?
He presents a pretty balanced view, I think. He acknowledges the successes. They have disrupted terrorist networks.
Eliminated some very dangerous individuals.
And he doesn't shy away from the potential downsides either.
The risk of blowback, for one.
Fueling more violence and instability.
And then there are the moral implications.
Operating outside the bounds of traditional law.
It's tricky territory.
That's what I found so compelling about Rise and Kill First. It's not just a spy thriller. It's a serious examination of the consequences.
It really is.
It forces you to confront some hard truths about state power
About the choices nations make.
in the name of security,
It challenges you to think about the means and the ends.
to weigh the benefits against the risks.
The ethical considerations.
There are no easy answers here.
Not at all.
Bergman also looks ahead towards the future, and he suggests that this strategy, targeted killings, might be reaching its limits.
Interesting point.
The world's changing, and so is terrorism,
We're seeing a shift away from those traditional hierarchies.
towards more decentralized networks.
The rise of lone wolf actors.
It's much harder to track those individuals,
Yeah,
and even harder to target them.
right.
So how do you adapt a policy that's built around eliminating key figures when the enemy doesn't have a clear head?
A valid question.
It raises doubts about the long-term viability of this approach.
Can it still be effective in this new world?
A world where the enemy is so diffuse and unpredictable.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
And that's where Bergman leaves us, with that question hanging in the air.
An open question for sure.
And not just for Israel.
Any nation facing these kinds of threats has to grapple with this.
No easy solutions.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
Rise and Kill First was a real eye-opener. Meticulously researched, packed with first-hand accounts. And it presents a really balanced analysis of this whole issue.
Couldn't agree more.
If you're interested in this topic, it's an essential read.
It really is one of those books that sticks with you.
It challenges your assumptions, makes you think critically.
But the choices nations make and the impact those choices have.
A powerful read for sure. It really does make you think. So, where do you stand on all this? After diving deep into Rise and Kill First, what are your thoughts on the ethics of targeted killings?
It's a tough one. No easy answers.
Do the ends justify the means? We'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, jump into the conversation. Head over to voixoff.ma and share your thoughts.
You can find more deep dives there too. We're always exploring new topics.
All kinds of fascinating stuff.
And hey, while you're there, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
So you don't miss out on future episodes.
We really appreciate your support.
And as always, we love hearing from you.
So leave a comment, share this episode.
Spread the word.
Keep those conversations going
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
and keep diving deep